This week, he's in Shrewsbury. Or is it Shrewsbury?
Favourite thing in Shrewsbury?
It's Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury.
My favourite thing about Shrewsbury is
It's not Telford.
The most unusual thing about Shrewsbury is
the people.
Don't particularly like the people.
It's a very polite place to live.
Shropshire born and bred, strong in the arm and thick in the head.
The most famous person I know of.
Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin.
Other than Charles Darwin, no.
Oh yeah, Percy Thrower.
It is a town of contradictions.
Mark Steele's in town.
Thank you very much. Lovely welcome. Welcome to Mark Steele's In Town, which this week comes from the Severn Theatre in the Shropshire town of Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury, with its endless listed buildings and riverside walks and floral displays, so that visitors walk round and can't help but think, you're a bit up yourselves here, aren't you? Everything here is at least 500 years old. You see a 13th century castle, assume it's where a duke lived, it turns out to be Greggs the Baker's. And so many important figures are connected with Shrewsbury. Michael Palin went to school here, and most famously Charles Darwin, who travelled the seas studying species, was from here. So the most prominent people to come from Shrewsbury are people prepared to go literally anywhere in the world rather than stay in Shrewsbury. And yet there are so many attractions here designed specially for their instant appeal to teenagers. The tourist website boasts Shrewsbury as a one-off, and as soon as you step out of the train station, you spot it has the largest mechanical signal box in the world. It's like ether here, isn't it? The tourist website also has this poem on its homepage to sum up the attractions of the town. Drinks with mates or dinner with a date. Stay up and explore until it's very late. And what's unique about the very beautiful river here is it doesn't just go through the town in a line like boring rivers. It goes in a loop, almost in a circle, with the town inside it, so that on a map, Shrewsbury looks like a lovely little testicle. While it may not be as adventurous as other nearby urban centres, such as Oswestry, it's calming and peaceful and with an accent specially designed to confuse the outsider. Because somehow what you manage to do when you're talking here is you manage to start off quite near the Black Country, then you go on a trip to Worcester and go all the way back to the West Midlands all in a sentence. Even so, Shrewsbury was recently voted the politest town in Britain. You can't be rude here. There are 600 listed buildings. Everything seems to be Tudor and full of beams and unsuitable for anybody more than 3'6". The signs as you come in, instead of saying Shrewsbury welcomes careful drivers, they should say Shrewsbury, mind your head. And in some ways, I think you're underselling yourselves, because it's portrayed as pretty and old and everything's full of flowers, but behind that there's a brilliant sinister side here. You could tell that from the names of some of your alleys. They have these medieval names like Bear Steps and Grope Lane, where it said prostitutes took their clients, and this is all made out to be quaint and lovely. So the tour guides go, up here is Disembowelment Passage, leading on to Finger-Ass Avenue. There are streets here that seem so historical. You just walk down the road half expecting women to throw buckets of piss out the window. And cobbles everywhere. Everywhere you go, cobbles. It's a nice touch, really, seeing as half the people trying to get round in this town are 90 and in a mobility scooter. Every time they pop out for a packet of biscuits, so they feel that they've been in a liquidizer. The first time I came to Shrewsbury, I thought it was all tea shops and cobbles, but only for about an hour, as I went round the Corn Exchange with the giant sundial thing, and I wandered by the river in the park that you call the Quarry, and I thought, idyllic England, home of romantic poets and wistful dreams. And then these two teenagers, honestly true, they came out of a bush, and one said to the other, "How can I say I love you when you're out of your head on glue, you moron?" behind the chutney and the Tudor beams, there is a little bit of tension here. And that's a positive thing. There should be a little poem on the website. Glue with mate to get in a state. Or time to explore with amyl nitrate. Not all tourists appreciate the historic charms. There's a message on TripAdvisor, which is glorious. It has a headline, Shrewsbury Beware, with a little exclamation mark, and it says, "My wife and I were spending a few days touring in Shropshire and we planned to visit Shrewsbury Cathedral last Sunday. We had never been to Shrewsbury before, but sadly we never made it to the cathedral. We decided to head for St. Julian's car park, as that seems to be the closest to the cathedral. Armed with a map of the city, we found ourselves in a series of one-way streets, all of which took us in a northwesterly direction. However hard we tried, we were unable to find a route to the St. Julian's car park. Not once did we see a sign to the cathedral. We eventually gave up, frustrated and very angry, left Shrewsbury, vowing never to return. In my long experience of visiting towns and cities of interest, Shrewsbury is without doubt the most visitor-unfriendly one I have ever experienced." And then the first reply on TripAdvisor to this sad tale goes, "If it softens the blow, the cathedral's closed to visitors on Sunday anyway." Now, one occasion when this was a place that attracted large numbers was during the war, when hundreds of evacuees were sent here, especially from Liverpool, that was getting bombed. According to the book of Shrewsbury that I have there, one girl located here went missing after a few days when it turned out she wanted to go home so badly she stole a bicycle and cycled back to Birkenhead. You can't keep people for 5 minutes. When you won that politeness award, the judges can't have been anywhere near anybody rowing about how the town is pronounced. There are groups such as Shrewsbury, not Shrewsbury, with a website that claims it receives hundreds of messages of support. And of course, there's Shrewsbury, not Shrewsbury, set up in opposition. When all this was reported in the Shropshire Star, the first comment from someone called JJ went, "I don't pronounce the R at all and say Shrewsbury." How do you manage this? The Welsh are only round the corner. They have place names with 43 consecutive consonants and managed to agree on how to pronounce the place. What letter are you going to take out next? Now, you can be asked. For 200 years, it'll just be sh. So what is it then? I'm going to ask, what is it? This is true. The BBC have a pronunciation unit, and you can ring them up about some village in the middle of Siberia, and it's got, "Oh, what is it called?" And they'll go, but here they go, "I don't know. Whatever we say, someone complains, I'll give up." This will be the next war zone over this issue. There'll be war reporters on the telly going, "Behind me I can hear the crack of gunfire from Shrewsbury guerrillas. They advance on the Darwin shopping centre, but there are rumours that Shrewsbury brigades have formed an alliance with a legion of Shrewsbury partisans and almost recaptured the outskirts of Ditherington. There have also been skirmishes we hear around Reebrook, though some say it should be Raybrook." And the buildings here, as I'm sure you're all aware, they've won so many awards. And in 2009, this very theatre was shortlisted for a prestigious prize called the Carbuncle Cup. Presented to the ugliest building in Britain, completed in the last 12 months. People like it. I think it's a brilliant theatre, this. Why do people complain about it? Small and ugly. Small and ugly? Oh, no.
Pile of bricks and metal.
It's just a pile of bricks and metal. That's what buildings are made of. Why can't it be made of something different, like bubbles? And you've also got the Market Hall Clock Tower. You fond of that? Built in 1965, the story of Shrewsbury lovingly describes as a structure that repels one, thrusting itself in a way that contributes nothing, not even to its own shadow. I'm going to be controversial. I actually like that clock tower. Are people fond of it? You are there. I think that's brilliant. What is the clock